Hey everyone, it's been a while since I've seen you and a lot has happened in the last week. So a quick recap. My church, the United Methodist Church, voted, unfortunately, to continue the harm that we do against LGBTQ people. We continue to say that we will not ordain queer people and that we will not marry queer people or same genders in our churches. But the plan that we passed, the traditionalist plan, is very unconstitutional, which means that when our High Church of the United Methodist Church meets in April, it could very well be that nothing happened. So that's what you missed. So I reached out on Twitter, and by the way, I do not tweet. I had like 200 followers before last week, and now I have like 3,400, and so I have to learn to tweet. So bear with me if you follow me on Twitter, but so thank you for those of you who do and who are helping me in this learning process, and on Instagram, and yeah, but Twitter, I'm learning Twitter. So on Twitter, I thought that I would throw out some questions. I said, tell me your hopes, give me some questions that you have post-General Conference. And so one of the questions that I received was, what gives you hope post-General Conference? And so what gives me hope is, as of today, there are 700 new reconciling congregations in the last week since General Conference. So let me tell you what that means. Reconciling Ministries Network, as you can see their logo here, is a movement within the United Methodist Church. And so churches that affirm the full worth of all people, including LGBTQIA people, join the reconciling movement as an outward sign that they affirm our personhood and our createdness. And so the fact that 700 new churches have committed to be reconciling shows that even though the denomination, the people gathered in that room who do not represent the church, even though they voted by a small margin to maintain our harm that is done against us, the majority of us, at least here in the US, and I've received messages from around the world, are seeking to include LGBTQIA people. And this leads me also, I've received so many emails, a lot. So if you still are waiting on an email from me, I'm sorry. But also I've received a lot of emails from conservative people as well. And so, you know, most of them say, you know, I'm conservative and I was a traditionalist, but I saw your speech and I saw your passion for the church, and you've made me reconsider. Because I think a lot of people, they just don't know us. We're an idea, and they think that we have some hidden gay agenda to take over the church, when in fact we just seek to serve the same God that we all want to serve. And so that has given me so much hope for the United Methodist Church. Seeing conservatives admit that they may be wrong, and seeing centrists finally speaking up, getting outside of your privilege. There are a lot of churches that are progressive, but who don't openly say that. So I encourage you, if that's your church, make the statement. Join Reconciling Ministries Network. Reach out on their website or contact me. Next question. So I got a question from a young girl who said, why the United Methodist Church? She said, you know, in my baptism, in my confirmation vows, I didn't want to say I commit myself to be loyal to the Church Universal and the United Methodist Church. So why the United Methodist Church? And on Twitter, a lot of people had said, hey, come on over to the Episcopal Church or the UCC. And that's all very, very sweet. And I appreciate your affirmation and your hospitality. But why the Methodist Church? For me, I grew up in the Methodist Church, and it's my home. These are my people. This is my church. This is where I feel called to serve God. I see us building schools and serving people and giving flood relief and providing aid in almost 64 countries around the world. I see all the good that we do, and I see the passion that our people have, and I see the love that we can do. And those 700 new Reconciling Ministries networks, churches, show the passion that our people have for inclusion and justice. And so why the United Methodist Church for me? because it is my church. This is our home. And like Moses going through the wilderness, he didn't leave his people and say, you know, go off on your own. You're grumbling with me. You don't agree with me. They led together. Like Amos talking to the people, the Hebrews, he said, you are doing wrong. But just because you're doing wrong doesn't mean I'm going to leave. I'm going to stay here and be prophetic and bring you into a place of justice where God is calling you. And Ruth and Naomi are a perfect example. I mean, Ruth is a Moabite. She's excluded by Hebrew law. In Deuteronomy chapter 23, it says the Moabites and the Hittites cannot be part of the people of God. And yet we see Ruth follow Naomi back to the Israelites and join this community to say that I am staying with you. Where you go, I will go, she says. And where you die, I will die. And so they give me hope. All of these biblical prophets, they give me hope that if we stay the course, we will transform our church into the church that God is calling us to be. Now, many of you have reached out and said that your children have recently come out as LGBTQIA. And so that has given me so much joy as well to have been part of this journey. And so my hope and advice to you all is that you would make sure that you're having these conversations in your church. If it's a safe space, I know not all are. If your church is a safe space, have these conversations. Be a reconciling community. Make sure that the people in your pews who are questioning know that they are safe and that they are loved. Because we are the church and we will continue to reclaim our church as we go forward. And so I am so excited. My tour is picking up this summer. My hope is that we can spread as much love as we can and as much hope for the United Methodist Church as we can. Stay tuned to my website, jjwarren.org, to see where I'll be coming to churches near you. I'll be in Tucson, Arizona. I'll be in Wisconsin. I'll be in Florida, hopefully soon, North Carolina maybe, all over, California, Portland. We're coming, and we are showing our support to stay the course. Encourage others, remain if you're able, because we will fight. And we will bring the United Methodist Church into the promised land of justice for all of God's people. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next week. Bye.